I was sitting in his car on a dark street in Midtown, his hands on my face, his lips on mine, and all I could think was how right this felt, how I'd forgotten what it was like to feel this alive. My wedding ring was digging into my palm because I'd been gripping the seat so hard. We hadn't even made it to his apartment 5 years. He'd been gone 5 years, and now he was back, and I was married, and none of that seemed to matter in that moment. My name is Jessica. I'm 32 years old. I live in Atlanta, and I'm about to tell you something I've never told anyone, not even my closest friends. This is the story of how my first love came back and destroyed everything I thought I wanted. I work in HR for a tech company here in Atlanta. Good job, good salary, nice apartment in Buckhead. On paper, my life looked perfect. I'd been married to Marcus for almost 3 years when this happened. Marcus is a good man, stable, reliable. He's an accountant, works long hours during tax season, comes home tired but never complains. We had a routine. Dinner at 7, Netflix on weekends, sex twice a week, always on Tuesday and Saturday nights, like clockwork. It was comfortable, safe. I told myself I was happy. But here's the thing no one knows. I'd been feeling restless for months before it happened. Not unhappy exactly, just numb. Like I was watching my life happen instead of living it. I'd wake up next to Marcus and feel nothing. Not love, not anger, just nothing. I kept that to myself, smiled at the right times, laughed at his jokes, played the role of the satisfied wife. It was last March when everything changed. A Tuesday afternoon around 3 o'clock. I was sitting in this coffee shop on Peachtree Street, the one with the big windows and the exposed brick walls. I just finished a meeting with a potential hire and was checking my phone, scrolling through emails I didn't care about. The place smelled like espresso and cinnamon. Jazz was playing softly in the background. I remember all of it so clearly. Then I heard it. My name. Not Jessica, but Jess. The way he used to say it with that slight drawl, making it sound like a secret between us. Quote 0. I looked up, and there he was. Dante, standing 3 feet away from my table, holding a coffee cup, wearing dark jeans and a gray Henley that fit him perfectly. Those same dark brown eyes. That same smile that always made my stomach flip. He looked older, more filled out, but it was definitely him. My first love. The man who broke my heart 10 years ago when he moved to California, and we tried long distance for 6 months before it fell apart. Quote 1 I said. My voice came out breathy, surprised. Quote 2. He smiled wider. Quote 3. I should have said no. I should have made an excuse, said I was leaving, kept it short. But I didn't. I nodded. He sat down across from me, and suddenly I was 22 again, sitting in the library at Georgia State, studying for finals while he distracted me with stupid jokes and stolen kisses. What are you doing in Atlanta? I asked. I thought you were in San Francisco. I was, he said. 5 years out there, but I moved back 2 months ago. Got a job with a startup here in tech. Figured it was time to come home. We talked for an hour. He told me about California, about his work, about how he'd been thinking about Atlanta a lot lately. I told him about my job, kept my answers vague, didn't mention Marcus right away. But then he looked at my left hand, at the diamond ring catching the light from the window. You're married, he said. Not a question, a statement. Yeah, I said. 3 years. His name is Marcus. Dante nodded slowly. You happy? I hesitated, just for a second, but he caught it. I saw it in his eyes, the way they focused on me with this intensity I remembered too well. Yeah, I said finally. I'm happy. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Quote 14. We exchanged numbers before I left. Just to catch up, we said. Stay in touch as friends. I walked to my car feeling like I'd been hit by something. My hands were shaking when I gripped the steering wheel. I sat there for 10 minutes before I could drive, just breathing, trying to calm down. That night, Marcus asked me about my day. I told him about the meeting, about the candidate I'd interviewed. I didn't mention Dante, I don't know why. It felt like a secret I wanted to keep even though nothing had happened. We ate dinner, watched a show, went to bed. Marcus fell asleep in 5 minutes like he always did. I lay awake until 2 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, thinking about dark brown eyes and the way my name sounded in that coffee shop. A week passed. Dante didn't text. I told myself I was relieved. I went to work, came home, played wife, and tried not to think about him. But I did. Constantly. I'd be in a meeting and suddenly remember the way he used to touch the small of my back. I'd be cooking dinner and think about how he used to come up behind me in his tiny apartment kitchen and kiss my neck. Then, on a Thursday night, my phone buzzed. 11:15. Marcus was already asleep beside me. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand, thinking it was a work email. It was Dante. "Can't stop thinking about you." My heart stopped. Actually stopped. I stared at those 5 words for a full minute, my thumb hovering over the screen. I knew what I should do. Delete it, block him, go back to sleep, but I didn't. I got up, went to the bathroom, closed the door, sat on the edge of the tub in the dark and typed back, _quote, _16, _. His response came immediately. Quote 17. I should have lied, should have said no, should have ended it right there. Instead, I wrote the truth. Quote 18, quote 19. I stared at that message. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. Every rational part of my brain screamed no, but my fingers typed quote 20 before I could stop them. The next day, I told Marcus I was meeting an old college friend for drinks after work. He barely looked up from his laptop, just said _quote _21 _ and went back to his spreadsheets. I spent an hour getting ready, changed my outfit 3 times, put on the perfume I used to wear in college, the one Dante always said he loved. We met at this bar in Midtown, a place called the Sound Table. Dark wood, low lighting, good music playing, not too crowded on a Friday evening. I got there first, ordered a glass of white wine to calm my nerves. When Dante walked in wearing black jeans and a fitted black t-shirt, I felt something in my chest tighten. He spotted me, smiled, walked over, hugged me. And here's the thing, that hug lasted 3 seconds too long. His hand lingered on my lower back. His cologne, something woody and expensive, filled my senses. When he pulled back, his eyes locked on mine. "You look incredible," he said. "Thank you," I managed. We sat in a corner booth, ordered drinks, started talking. But this wasn't catching up. This was something else. The way he looked at me, like he was trying to memorize every detail. The way his leg kept brushing against mine under the table. The electricity in the air between us. Second glass of wine. He told me about a bad breakup he'd had in San Francisco. How he'd realized he'd been comparing every woman to someone he used to know. He didn't say my name, but we both knew. Third glass of wine. I told him the truth, that my marriage was fine, but not exciting. That I felt like I was sleepwalking through my life. That I hadn't felt truly awake in years. He reached across the table, took my hand. His thumb traced circles on my palm. "I never forgot you, Jess," he said quietly. "Not once in 5 years." I couldn't breathe. His hand moved from mine to my knee under the table. My whole body went hot. I knew I should pull away. I didn't. "Dante," I whispered. "I can't." "Can't what?" His hand moved higher on my thigh. "Can't feel what you're feeling? Because I think you can. I think you are." The truth is, I was. Every nerve in my body was on fire. I was married. I was wearing Marcus's ring. I was supposed to go home to him in an hour, and none of it mattered. All I could think about was Dante's hand on my leg and how desperately I wanted more. "Come with me," he said. It wasn't a question. I should have said no, should have stood up, gone home, blocked his number, never seen him again. Instead, I drank the last of my wine and said, quote 31. We left the bar. His car was parked 2 blocks away. We walked in silence, but his hand found mine in the dark. When we got to his car, a black Audi, he opened the passenger door for me. I got in. He closed the door, walked around, got in the driver's side. He started the engine but didn't drive. Just turned to me in the dim light from the street lamp. Quote 32, he said. Quote 33. I looked at him. At this man who'd been my first everything, my first love, my first time, my first heartbreak, and I knew if I got out of that car, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. Quote 34, I said. He kissed me, right there in the car, parked on a Midtown street, his hands in my hair, my hands gripping his shirt, 10 years of wanting and missing and wondering all crashing together at once. It was desperate and hungry and perfect. When he pulled back, we were both breathing hard. Quote 35, he said. Quote 36, I said. Quote 37. He started to pull out onto the street, but then he stopped. Pulled into this dark alley between two buildings, cut the engine, looked at me. Quote 38, he said. And then his hands were on me again. His mouth on my neck, my collarbone, finding every spot he used to know. My wedding ring pressed cold against his shoulder as I pulled him closer. The windows fogged up. I forgot where I was. Forgot everything except how he felt, how he tasted, how he made me feel like I was 22 and fearless and alive. We didn't make it to his apartment that night. Eventually, we pulled ourselves together enough to drive. He took me to this hotel downtown, the W, walked up to the front desk and got a room like we'd planned it. We didn't leave that room until 5 in the morning. When the first light started coming through the windows, I lay there next to him, his arm around me, and reality crashed back in. I had 17 missed calls from Marcus. I got dressed in silence. Dante watched me from the bed, not saying anything. When I was ready to leave, he caught my hand. "Don't disappear on me again," he said. I didn't answer. I went home, told Marcus my phone had died and I'd stayed at my friend Michelle's place because I'd had too much to drink. He believed me, or pretended to. Either way, he kissed my forehead and went to make coffee. I should have ended it there, should have blocked Dante's number and never looked back. But 2 days later, he texted, Quote 40, I went. Of course I went. It became a pattern. He'd text, usually late at night. I'd make up an excuse. Drinks with coworkers, late meeting, girls' night with Michelle. Marcus never questioned it. Maybe he didn't want to know. Maybe he was too comfortable in our routine to notice I was slipping away. Dante and I met 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes at his apartment in Virginia Highland, a modern loft with floor-to-ceiling windows, sometimes at hotels when we wanted to be extra careful, once in his car in a parking garage at midnight because we couldn't wait. Here's what no one tells you about affairs. It's not just about the physical part, though that was incredible. It's the aliveness of it. The secrecy. The stolen hours. The way he'd text me during the day. Something simple like, thinking about you, and I'd feel it in my whole body. The way I'd lie in bed next to Marcus and replay every moment with Dante in my head. I started taking longer showers so I could wash away his cologne. Started keeping a change of clothes in my car. Started lying so smoothly it scared me. I was living 2 lives, and the worst part is, I liked it. Around week 6, Dante said something that changed things. We were lying in his bed on a Wednesday afternoon. I told Marcus I had a doctor's appointment. Dante was tracing patterns on my bare shoulder with his finger, the afternoon light making his skin glow. "Leave him," he said quietly. I went still. "What?" "Leave Marcus be with me like we should have been all along." "Dante, it's not that simple." "Why not?" He propped himself up on his elbow, looking down at me. "You're not happy with him. You're here with me. We both know this isn't just physical. We never stopped loving each other." I sat up, pulled the sheet around me. "You moved to California. You left me." I was 24 and stupid and thought my career was everything. I was wrong. I realized that about a year in. But by then you'd stopped answering my calls. I thought you'd moved on. I did move on. I got married. To a man you don't love. The truth of that hit me hard. I did love Marcus in a way, but not the way I loved Dante, not the way that made my pulse race and my skin feel electric, not the way that made me feel like myself. "I need time," I said. "How much time?" "I don't know." He kissed my shoulder. "Okay, but Jess, I've waited 5 years already. I'll wait a little longer, but not forever. That conversation haunted me, because he was right. What was I doing? Playing house with Marcus while my heart was somewhere else, entirely? But divorce wasn't simple. We had a life together, a mortgage, combined finances, friends who'd be shocked. My family loved Marcus. I decided to be more careful, started deleting texts immediately, made sure I never smelled like Dante's cologne, checked my appearance in the car mirror before going home, but I didn't stop seeing him. I couldn't. Then 2 months in, I got careless. It was a Saturday night. Marcus had gone to play poker with his buddies, said he'd be home around midnight. Dante texted asking if I wanted to come over. I said yes, told myself I'd be home by 11, plenty of time. But at Dante's place, time disappeared. We ordered Thai food, watched a movie, ended up in his bed like we always did. I fell asleep. Actually fell asleep with my head on his chest, his fingers running through my hair. When I woke up, my phone was buzzing. 2:30 in the morning, 15 missed calls, 20 texts. My blood went cold. I jumped out of bed, started grabbing my clothes. "What's wrong?" Dante asked, sitting up. "Marcus." I fell asleep. He's been calling. I got dressed in 30 seconds, called him back. He answered on the first ring. "Where are you?" His voice was cold, controlled. That scared me more than if he'd been yelling. Quote 59, quote 60, he said. Quote 61. My heart stopped. Quote 62, quote 63. He hung up. I stood there, in Dante's bedroom, my phone in my hand, feeling like the floor had dropped out from under me. "He knows," I whispered. Dante got up, put his hands on my shoulders. "Then tell him the truth. Tell him you want out. Be with me." "I have to go." I drove home going 20 over the speed limit, my mind racing. What would I say? How much did he know? Maybe I could still salvage this. But when I walked into our apartment, Marcus was sitting on the couch in the dark, my iPad in his hands. My iMessages were open on the screen. I'd forgotten they synced to the tablet. He'd read everything. "Who's Dante?" he asked quietly. I couldn't speak, couldn't move, just stood there in the doorway like an idiot. "How long?" His voice cracked. "Marcus, How long, Jessica?" 2 months. He laughed. Actually laughed, this bitter sound I'd never heard from him before. Quote 72. Quote 73. Quote 74. The question hung in the air. I could have lied, should have lied, but I was tired of lying. Quote 75, I whispered. He stood up, set the iPad down carefully on the coffee table. Quote 76. Quote 77. Quote 78. He yelled it this time. I'd never heard him yell. "I don't want to look at you right now. Go be with him since that's clearly what you want." I grabbed some clothes, threw them in a bag, left my key on the counter, walked out of the apartment we'd shared for 3 years, got in my car and just drove. No destination, tears streaming down my face. I ended up at Dante's place, knocked on his door at 3:30 in the morning. When he opened it and saw my face, he pulled me inside, held me while I cried. "He knows," I said. "Everything." He kicked me out. "Stay here," Dante said. "Stay with me." I did, for 3 days. Then reality set in. I couldn't just move in with the man I'd been cheating with. I got my own place, a small apartment in Decatur, filed for divorce. Marcus didn't fight it, didn't ask for anything, just signed the papers and moved on like our 3 years together meant nothing. My family was devastated. My mother cried. My father stopped speaking to me for a month. My friends took sides. Most chose Marcus because, let's be honest, I was the bad guy in this story. And Dante? He was there through all of it. Patient, supportive, kept telling me we'd get through it and be together properly once the dust settled. But here's the thing I didn't expect. Once I left Marcus, once Dante and I could be together openly, something changed. The electricity faded, the desperation, the aliveness. We were just 2 people dating, and it felt ordinary. All the magic had been in the forbidden part, in the stolen moments, in the risk, 3 months after my divorce was finalized, Dante and I had been officially together for a month. We were having dinner at his place, and I looked at him across the table and realized I didn't feel what I thought I'd feel. The passion was gone. Without the secrecy, without the danger, we were just two people who used to date in college and probably shouldn't have gotten back together. I broke up with him a week later. He was shocked. Asked if I'd used him to escape my marriage. Maybe I had. I don't know. All I know is that what we had only worked in the dark. So now here I am, 32 years old, divorced, living alone in a one-bedroom apartment. My ex-husband won't speak to me. Half my friends think I'm selfish. My family barely looks at me the same way. I destroyed my stable, comfortable life for a man I don't even want anymore. And the really messed up part? Dante still texts me sometimes, late at night. Says he made a mistake letting me go 5 years ago and then again 3 months ago. Says he knows we're meant to be together, that he'll wait as long as it takes. I don't respond anymore, but I keep the messages. Read them sometimes when I'm lonely. Wonder if I made the biggest mistake of my life or if I finally woke up from one. Here's what I've learned. First love is powerful, intoxicating. It makes you feel things you'll never feel quite the same way again. But that doesn't mean it's meant to last. Sometimes the past should stay in the past, no matter how good it looks when it walks back into a coffee shop on a Tuesday afternoon. Would I do it differently if I could go back? I don't know. I destroyed my marriage, lost friends, disappointed my family. But I also felt alive for the first time in years. Felt passion and desire and the terrifying thrill of doing something just because I wanted to, not because it was safe or expected. I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm not sorry either. That probably makes me a terrible person. Or maybe just an honest one. Either way, that's my story. The truth about what happens when your first love comes back after 5 years and you're wearing someone else's ring. It's messy, it's complicated, and it doesn't have a happy ending. At least not yet.